Hello and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at third grade readiness practice 3.2a for composing and decomposing numbers. This is the intermediate level. If you are interested in looking at the proficient or advanced level for 3.2a or any other standard for that matter, you can do so by following the link in the video description. So our first problem is asking us about Farmer Fred. So let's scroll down a little bit here. We see Farmer Fred. He has a massive pumpkin patch, and he's counted, and then we've got a term there, 42,815 pumpkins. Now, we need to show how many pumpkins he has in two different forms. So we get to choose which two, and so I'm going to show you all the different forms, and so you would just need to choose two and then check them. So let's write our number first. And so I'm going to make a place value chart, and that's going to be helpful here. So 42,815. For my place value chart, I don't want to write the place, I want to write the value. So the 5 is in the ones place, the 1 is in the tens place, the 8 is in the hundreds place. Now we're in the thousands place and the 10,000s place. So let's start first with our word form. So if I want to write word form, I'm going to write it just like I read it. How I read it is I say each place value group separated by the comma. So this is 42. I would write the 42 together. And then this is my thousands period or my thousands family. So I would say 42. And then I would say the name of that family. So that's going to be 42,000 because all that goes together. And then this is my ones family or my ones period. You don't say that family name at the end. So 815 would be 815. Now, if your spelling is a little bit off, that's fine, as long as we can tell that you are trying to write these words in this order. 42,815. So you could choose the word form. You could choose unit form. So when we're looking at uniform, we are writing the digit, right? So this is going to be 4, and then what place is that in? So 4 10,000s, and then we go to the next one. And we can do it as a series of sums if we want to. 2,000s. So 4 10,000s, 2,000s. Next we have an 8, and what place is that in? That is in our hundreds place. Now, we don't just say 10, we're going to say 110 plus, and then at the very bottom we're going to put 5, but not just 5, it's 5 ones. All right, so let's try expanded form. So I'll put exp and then form. Now we've learned expanded form. We've done that in the past, back in second grade. So let's take each digit, starting with the largest one, and write its value. So a 4 in the 10,000s place is the same as 4 10,000s. So 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. Now we're going to do it as a series of sums again. 2,000s would be 1,000, 2,000. So writing the sum, and let's get that back to a 2,000. There we go. And then 800s, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. And then 110 is simply 10, and then 5 ones is simply 5. So then expanded notation is going to be a little bit different. You're going to take the value in each digit, right, in each place, so that's a 4, and then you're going to multiply it by its place value. That's why having the place values for each of these is going to be helpful. 4 times 10,000. Well, that's what I did earlier. I added 4 10,000s, or I multiplied 10,000 by 4 to get up to 40,000. So expanded notation is very similar to expanded form. Instead of showing the value of each digit, I'm going to multiply the digit in that value, and then I'm going to multiply that by the place value it's worth. So 2 times 1,000, 8 times 100. We still need a 1 times its value, 10, And then we still need a 5 times its value, 1. All right, so this is problem number 1 for composing and decomposing numbers. You would just need to choose 2 different forms, so you would need all 4 of these, but I put them all up here for your reference. For practice number 2, we are looking at a local zoo having a Name the Elephant contest. And we have a certain number of entries, 52,380. We want to show the number of entries as the sum of so many 10,000s and thousands. All right, so this means we are going to be utilizing unit form. And it's going to tell us how many 10,000s, how many thousands, and so on and so forth. So we need to write this in 2 different ways. Well, let's first get our number down. 52380. Let's write the value of each place like we did before. So that's 1, 10, 100. My 2 is in my thousands place, and my 5 is in my 10,000s place. So I could just start with my basic unit form, right? So I've got 5, and then how many, what place value is that in? I've got 5 of my 10,000s. And since it's the sum, let's go ahead and add it up, plus 2 thousands, plus I've got a 3 in the hundreds, and then I've got 8 tens. Now I have 0 ones. You don't need to add the 0 ones. So that would work for 1. But I need at least one more way. Now there's a lot of different ways. Let me show you one right here. Let's just look at it, this easy one right here. You see that 80 right there? I'm going to kind of grab those together. And so this is how I want to imagine this. I want to start the same way I did. I've got 5 10,000s. Now it needs to be slightly different. Plus 2 thousands. Still have my 300s. But instead of simply looking at my 8 tens, what I want to do is I want to reimagine that as 80. And since it's 80, you're always going to say the name of whatever the final digit is. So it's 80 ones. Because we know that 80 ones is the same as 8 tens, but now I've made it look a little bit different. And I can do the same thing right here. Okay. So let's do the same thing. Let's do 5 10,000s. And you could do it with more than one at a time, right? In this case, I'm just going to show you the 23. If we bring the 23 together, that last digit, the 3, is in what spot? The hundreds place. So that means 2,300s is the same as 23 hundreds. Now, you can do 8 tens or you can do 81s. I'll just do 8 tens. You see, you can take 2 numbers and you combine them together and just say the digit of the final one. There are many more different options to choose from. You only need 2. So I'm going to write down here, answers may vary. That means that you might have slightly different answers than me. You only need 2 correct answers, but I gave you kind of the pattern for the first 3. And if you're combining 2 numbers and saying the final place value, you will be good to go. For our third and final composing and decomposing numbers practice, we are looking at Milani. She has a mystery number. Okay, so she has, and then we've got 3 ones, 4 tens, 800s, and then 7 thousands. All right, so she kind of wrote it backwards. So looks like my thousands is my largest place. So I'm going to write this blank place value chart. I've got ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. So 3 ones, that's the ones place. My 4 goes in my tens place. My hundreds goes right there. And then my 7 goes in the thousands. So they actually gave us the number in reverse order. So it's not 3,487, it's 7,843. Now I need to write her number in 3 different forms. Standard form, expanded notation, and expanded form. Well, I've done standard form, but I'll go ahead and rewrite it. So standard form is just going to be straight numbers, 7, 843, 7,843. Now, expanded notation is going to be taking each digit, 7, and then multiplying it by its place value. So 7 times its place value of the thousands. We're going to add that to 8 times its place value in the hundreds. We're going to add that times 4 plus its place value in the tens. Add that to our 3 times its place value in the ones. Now I finally need expanded form. So that's, remember, related to our expanded notation. And so that is going to be, I'll write it right underneath, 7,000. So that's just the value of that digit in that place value. The 8 in the hundreds is worth 800. 4 in the tens is worth 40. 3 in the ones is worth 3. So there we go. Those are the 3 answers. And that is composing and decomposing numbers. If you would like to look at the proficient or the advanced level for this particular standard, you can do so by using the link in the video description.